Hello, guys. Welcome to this very special session, which is dedicated to Master Economics for Prelims 2025. See, I know many of you perceive economics as one of the tough subject, right? But let me assure you, let me tell you, it's not actually tough. It's technical and it's based on conceptual clarity. So if you have a very clear strategy, if you have the right resources, and if you have the clear understanding of the subject, and with a focused preparation, you can make economics as one of your strongest subject. You can see many videos I have done on economy. In fact, almost all the topics in this channel itself. You might have seen me in a Study IQ channel also. You might have attended my courses also. So if that's the case, I don't think that economics should be a difficult area for you. So in this session, by the end of this lecture, you will have a clear roadmap, right? So what I'm going to do is I'll be discussing the high priority topics and the best practices that you can follow to cover those areas and to achieve good marks from the economy area in your prelims. So let's get started. Now, why economics actually deserves your attention? See, it's a non-negotiable area when it comes to UPSC preparation, right? So this is one of the core. When we talk about the core subjects, it's history, geography, polity, economy, and out of which, what's the most important one? If you ask me, it's economics, right? So if you see my lectures, there are around 20 modules and around 120 lectures. I've covered everything which is required for that. You can check out the details in the description, and if you're looking for the course, you can take the course also. Otherwise, also you can check out the YouTube channel itself. So much of topics have been covered over there. Over the last decade, if you see, economy consistently contributing 15 to 20 questions, or at least 12 to 15 questions on an average. If you take every year, you are getting that, and it's consistent. So with some years, if you see, it's even 21 questions, 22 questions, 24 questions also I have seen, right? In 2024, if you see, there were around 16 questions which were directly from economics, and 23, if you see, there are around 18 to 19 questions with directly from economics. So if you see such kind of weightage when economics is carrying, how can you afford to ignore this just because you are thinking that it is tough subject and it is very difficult to prepare? So ignoring economics is not an option in your preparation. We talk about strategically avoiding certain areas, but not from the core subjects, but from the peripheral subjects like art, architecture, or medieval history and ancient history, because the return on investment, the amount of effort and the time that you put on that subjects, and the output you get from that, the number of questions, right? Even if you get the questions are volatile and factuals. But here, that's not the case. These questions are predictable and these questions are based on concepts. So here the ROI is high. So you cannot avoid in any way, right? So these numbers itself will tell you the story. Numbers itself will reflect you the importance of the subjects. So it's make it very evident and clear that if you have done a decent preparation, thorough preparation in the subject, that is going to make your prelims. If you're not doing it, that can break your prelims also. So this is actually a deal breaker, right? Now, coming to breaking down the syllabus, let's talk about if you look at the UPSC syllabus for economics, it's very broad, and it include economic and social development, sustainable development, poverty, inclusive growth, demography, and then social sector initiatives like that. Although, if you see, look at these terms are vague, but the analysis of the past papers that give you clarity. So that's why I always talk about the previous year question analysis, right? You will get the pattern, you will get the type of the question, you will get the understanding on the depth in which you need to go when you're preparing. You will understand the mindset of UPSC, what all areas you need to cover. So if you would look at questions from 2015 to 2024, the last 10 years, topics like macroeconomic, Indian economy, and microeconomics have been, emerged as key focus areas. Now, if you look at the macro versus microeconomics, that's a bigger picture, right? Let's classify economics into this major parts, major components, micro and macro. So if you look at macroeconomics, last 10 years, almost 130 questions has been asked. And this is most significant segment, the macroeconomics, right? Macroeconomics, the broad area that's very important, and it is very broad also. If you look at the topics like external sector, topics like balance of payment, foreign exchange trends, and the India's trade profiles, right? All these will dominate in this area. So the questions often cover concepts like depreciation, appreciation, the trade deficits, current account deficits, and all those things. Okay, and then multilateral institutions like World Bank, IMF, WTO, again frequently appear in the questions. Now, if you look at Indian economy areas, when we talk about Indian economy, that will be like the topics like agriculture and, with a repeated focus on minimum support price, MSP, and other topics like employment, poverty, infrastructure, all these are significant when it comes to Indian economy. Agriculture alone, around 40, 50 questions has been asked in the last 10 years, right? Around 30, close to 40 questions has been asked, if I'm correct. I need to get into the fact exactly, but to my knowledge, almost like that. So again, if you look at microeconomics, not a major area, but understanding basic principles like elasticity, demand, right? Demand, supply, elasticity of demand, right? And all these things are very, very critical. A couple of questions, you may get. So that's again a very important area. Now, if you look at the high priority topics for economy, so when you're preparing for economics, what you need to do? You need to focus on these areas like external sector, which is very important, right? So you will be focusing on the balance of payments, the components, and the trends they will ask you. Foreign exchange rate mechanisms, depreciation, appreciation, and all those things they'll ask you. India's trade profile, the exports, imports, the trade deficits, FDI inflows and the remittances, current account, capital account, right? And then if you look at the fiscal policy and budgeting, they'll ask you revenue and capital budgets, right? So receipts, expenditures, types of taxes, direct tax, indirect tax, GST and its implications, Finance Commission and FRBM Act, like that. These are the topics. And then if you look at banking and financial regulations, they'll ask you banking norms and classifications, priority sector lending norms, digital payment systems like UPI, NPCI, like that. And then monetary policy, very important area, inflation connected with that monetary policy, repo, reverse repo, CRR, SLR, and all open market operations, RBI's policies, liquidity adjustment facility, very important, right? And then when it comes to Indian economy, as I told you, they'll ask you about agriculture, MSP, subsidies, reforms, industry, employment and poverty trends, and all these areas will be covered. So what are the reference materials? Your go-to resources. Firstly, my notes that itself cover everything. The course completely cover everything. Apart from that, you can look for Nitin Singhania, sorry, or Ramesh Singh for the conceptual clarity. And then NCERT class 12, macro and microeconomics, and class 11, Indian economic development also. So these are for building the concepts, and then the government documents like union budget and economic survey. So normally, once you're done with the concepts, and if you have very good understanding about the economic terms and everything, during my preparation, maybe after the second attempt, it's almost clear about the concepts and everything. So from third attempt onwards, I only read economic survey. So from that itself, you'll get everything. So union budget and economic survey, focus on the highlights at least. Okay. Now, current affairs, of course, newspapers, Hindu, Indian Express, PIB articles for detailed government schemes you can go for. So the main thing is that you need to integrate the static and the dynamic portions connected to current affairs, because this is when we talk about economy, it's the current affairs, which is very much important when it comes to economics, right? So the questions are connected with the current affairs. So it's a very dynamic subject. So the static concepts will give you the idea, understanding, and the conceptual clarity, but you need to connect it with the current development so you can predict the question. Why the questions are predictable? Why you can expect a question on rupee depreciation this coming year? Because that's something which is there in the discussion, which is there repeatedly coming in the news. So what is devaluation? What is depreciation? What China is doing when we went to depreciation? Do we had devaluation before? Did we devalued? And all these things you need to know then, right? Because we are getting this news every day. So you need to the rupee at all-time low. So again, for example, if I need to give another example, when you're studying balance of payment related to the current trade policies or India's trade deficits, rupee depreciation I gave you. Similarly, fiscal policies can be enriched by understanding the budgetary announcements and their implications. So these all are connected with current affairs. What are the common challenges and how to tackle that when it comes to economics preparation? Many aspirants face problems like a resource overload and lack of depth in preparation. See, what depth you need to go in economy, if you need to know, you just need to refer the previous year questions and you will understand the depth in which you need to go or what they are expecting, and the topics also. And you don't want to get too much of resources. As I told you, my notes will cover everything. Apart from that, the materials which I have discussed will cover everything. So you don't want to overload the notes. Avoid, creating exhaustive notes. Focus on concise, high-yielding summary versions for revision especially. Prioritization issues will be there. See, what you need to do is start with the critical areas. If you're beginning, if you are a first attempt student, external sector, fiscal policy, before moving to less significant topics, right? And then random resources, stick to proven text sources like NCERTs and the books which I have told you, rather than whatever you go to the market, Karol Bagh or Mukherjee Nagar, you get that and you buy that and you start keep reading that. You forget it, you can't revise it, there is no use also, because we need familiarity, right? So when we read the same book again and again, there is a familiarity and that will help you to remember things. If you're not familiar, even if you know the things, but it is again you feel like it's new. So we need that familiarity when you're preparing for something, and especially an exam like this, we need to revise. We need to revise again and again and again, multiple times. Right? Again, previous year questions. That's your preparation blueprint. That's how you will understand the mindset of examiner or UPSC. And if you can understand the mindset of UPSC, then only you can get into that and you can prepare accordingly. So previous year questions is the way. They are invaluable resources, and that will help you to identify the trend, understand the question pattern, understand the depth in which you need to prepare. So you will get a recurring themes. You will get to know there are some areas which are directly asking. So you will see MSP, GST like that. Goes the depth of the question from specific topics. So fine tune your preparation strategy based on that. This is what I want to tell you. And you keep testing yourself, because you need to keep taking tests every day, every week, right? Regular mock test you need to do. Evaluate your understanding on high priority topics. If you made an answer correct, you need to know whether it is correct because of luck or because of actual conceptual clarity. If you have made something wrong, understand why you made it wrong, right? So evaluate your understanding on each and every topic every now and then, and practice time management also, and accuracy also. Accuracy is a very important factor, right? So all these need to be considered. So see, economics is not just a subject, it's your scoring ally. It is going to be your friend in your UPSC prelims, right? So you need to treat it like that. So focus on high priority areas, integrate the static and dynamic portions, and consistently revise using previous year questions, analyze the trend, analyze the pattern, analyze the depth, solve maximum questions as possible, read the solutions, right? With the right strategy, and consistent and persistent effort, you can confidently tackle this subject and boost the chances of clearing prelims 2025. See, it's very easy subject. Economics give you that edge. If you are confident, if you are good in economics, you will definitely clear prelims. The chances that you are going to clear prelims is very high. So stay focused and let's make economics your stronghold instead of thinking that it's a tough subject. Right? So if you have any questions or doubts, you can get in touch with us. If you wish to join the courses or mentorship or test series or anything, you can get the details in the description. Again, get in touch with us. If you like the video, share it with your friends also. So that's about the session, guys. Thank you so much. See you in the next video.